How's it going, Lazy Bruce? I'm Bobby Sixkilla, and today we're going to be checking out the 7th Enigma. I assume that's how you say it, the 7th Enigma. It's the VII Enigma. Anyway, it's a visual novel that we did feature on our upcoming games video for January. It's $9 in my regional currency, probably about $6 US, and it reckons that it's got a 20-hour read time, which, if good, that's big. That's pretty impressive for a $9 game. Crazy. It's got a very interesting looking aesthetic, almost like it was like real people, but then cartoonified sort of thing. But I'm curious to see what it's all about. It is a mystery visual novel with multiple endings. You know, the huge that we do around here. Let's jump in, do half an hour or so. It will probably turn into a full series at some point, but at the moment I'm kind of bogged down. This is just to get a taste, you know? So, let me know what you think about it anyway. A taste test. Like, if no one cares, then we can just skip it. I can only hope this message has safely found its way to you. This is my epitaph, my final will and testament. I have more regrets than can be numbered, more failures than I wish to count. The blood that was spilled on my account is an amount too vast to comprehend. So the future is not mine, I leave it in your hands. Forces of anarchy and the control pull intention. And of control. And with it emerges the battle of false gods. On either side is a cliff. On either side a pitfall that leads to ruin. While people number on opposing sides, few understand the nuance of harmony. If God exists, he stands as the bridge in between. But my battle is for my own. My fight is personal. So do what I could not. Be who I feared to be. Bring this world back to balance, not to total chaos, nor to perfect order. But with open eyes to face the darkness for what it is. And to embrace it for what it is. I have done what I can, for I am now nothing but a ghost. I am but a spectre whose influence lingers, but whose form is gone. Perhaps this will be the greatest amongst miracles worked by your hands. Or the highest of folly from a man filled with regrets. From where I stand I cannot tell, and will never myself know. This is our last chance, our final hope. I leave it all to you now. The attached information will make the impossible possible. Good luck. Make the future a better one. I like the background thing. Very cool. I'm going to use that in my thumbnail. Chapter 1. Escape. January 23rd, 2060. Damn. Well, I can't say I've seen anything like this before. The man looks down in exasperation, dropping his files to the desk. You're gonna have to help me out here. How is it that we have no match for your brain patterns on record? Just who are you? Speak up. I can't hear you. I don't know. The man replies in a strained voice as he looks up at his interrogator. The man, likely in his 30s, appears exhausted and defeated. You do realize this isn't gonna work, right? Just how dumb do you think I am? I'll ask again, who are you? And what were you doing in the tunnel systems? I told you, I really don't know. At that moment, a forceful voice interjects. He doesn't appear to be lying, his brainwaves indicate he's telling the truth. Either that or he has found a way to deceive the scans. Yet it is strange, you seem familiar for some reason. He looks suspiciously down at the bound man. Wait a second, how rude of me. A man always introduces himself first. My name is Beckett. And yours is? Beckett speaks with an air of sarcasm. He looks almost a decade younger than the man opposite him, yet he holds a strange sense of power and maturity as he speaks. I really don't know. I feel like there was something important I had to do. But my head is so... The man speaks erratically, shuddering through words in a panicked tone. His brain is showing signs of severe distress, no indication of falsehood. Again, all signs are that he's telling the truth. Yeah, but wouldn't that be exactly what a pro would be aiming for? And what about the fact that there's no matching neural identifier on record? I don't know about that, but even the best pro could, at most, only produce inconclusive readings to the scan. And as you know, it's impossible to stop the neural ID tracking system. This is clear, he is definitely telling us what he believes to be the truth. So you're really not going to tell me who you are? I suggest a different line of questioning, sir. Why don't you ask him about that? Right. Beckett places before him a strange orb-like object. It's mostly transparent but inscribed with unusual vein-like patterns. Care to tell me what this is? And why you were holding it so protectively when we found you? Don't make me ask twice. Tell me what it is now. I think... Clutching his head, strains fill the man's face as he starts to groan aloud in pain. Unusual amygdala response detected. His brain is again showing signs of severe distress. I suggest backing off this line of questioning for now and allow him to recover normal brain function. Really? He doesn't know who he is, and now he can't tell me about the only item of significance we found on him? Clicking his tongue, Beckett looks to the floor, arms outstretched as he holds the chair in front of him. Despite many more probing questions, the interrogator is unable to pry any information of value out of the peculiar prisoner. Eventually, Beckett gives up. Well, whatever. If we can't identify you, we can't release you. You may be locked up here for a long time, so I'd suggest you think it over and give me a yell when you feel like talking. Beckett, slinging his jacket over his shoulder, makes for the exit, leaving the man locked alone in the interrogation cell. Beckett seems like kind of an asshole. Hey Iker, how much further we got? It's showing we're 15 meters away. Let's just hope the coordinates he gave us were accurate. This tunnel reeks. Must be near a sewage line. Let's burst through this thing quick. Zyla, get the cutter out. Right on it. Okay, here's the spot. Zyla, you start cutting. Levi, you're the muscle, so you'll be going through first, followed by me. While we're in there, Zyla, you should stay here. If all goes to plan, we'll be straight back out with the target. Can we really trust this? Seems like the risks we're being asked to take just keep increasing. Everything we've been told so far has worked out for us. We wouldn't even be here if it hadn't been for him. We can't start doubting our mission now. Yeah. I want to take them out as badly as you do, but don't get me wrong. But this is just crazy. Asking us to infiltrate a bureau-controlled facility? Getting cold feet at the crunch? It's not that. Look at it another way. If we pull this off, it changes everything and confirms everything he told us. That's a big if. And cutting is done. You both ready? As I'll ever be, I guess. Good, here we go. Drop in 3, 2, 1. Jumping down through the newly cut hole, Iker and Levi find themselves standing in an interrogation room. Those heights sure hurt their ankles more than they used to. Looking up, Levi eyes their target. He's sitting hunched in the small cell with his hair covering his eyes. Hey, you the professor guy? Come on, we gotta go. The man doesn't move, his eyes still facing the floor. Excuse me, Dr. Elijah Shaw? We've been sent by the founder to retrieve you. Elijah? The man mumbles to himself, eyes wide as he stares at the wall. What's wrong with this guy? Listen, we don't have time for this. Levi, we'll just take him with us and trust the info we're given. We can sort the rest out later. Alright, sorry Professor Guy, you're coming with us. Levi with his huge frame scoops the much smaller man up in his arms, raising him up to the hole cut above them. Alright, you put your foot on my hands, I'll hoist you through. Here we go. In one swift motion, the man ejects the room, landing heavily on the exterior metal of the room above. Ugh. Here, let me help you. Zyla extends her hand to the professor. He grasps it and unsteadily gets to his feet. My name's Zyla. It's nice to meet you, Dr. Shaw. Looking up, the man catches Zyla's eyes. Motionless, he stares transfixed, still grasping her hand. The man suddenly responds as if waking up from a dream, letting go of her hand. Sorry, just Elijah is fine. Huh? Just call me Elijah. Well, okay then, Elijah. It's nice to meet you. Zyla smiles sweetly back at him. Levi stands tall, having made his way back out through the hole. Sorry to break up the party, but we gotta get out of here. Right, quickly, let's get back to base. They start off back down the tunnel at a brisk pace, following Iker, who leads the pack. Turning to the right, Then briskly to the left, they continue the unprecedented pattern through the passageways, getting as far away from the facility as possible. Eventually, lessening the pace, they continue their journey navigating the dark, winding passageways of the underground tunnel systems. Where are we? Right now we're in the tunnel systems under the city. No one comes down here other than the occasional maintenance crew. The Bureau's ID trackers make sure of that, which makes it ideal for us. Ideal apart from the smell. I see. Whilst running, Elijah has a moment of panic as he comes to himself in the midst of the dizzying situation. Anxiety-filled thoughts enter Elijah's mind. What am I doing here? Who even are these people? How do I know I should be trusting them? What are they planning to do with me? It's better than being in an interrogation cell forever. Observing his surroundings as he runs, Elijah weighs up his options. In the moment of panic, Elijah chooses to stay calm and trust them for now. Elijah takes deeper breaths, trying to calm himself whilst keeping the pace. Keep it together, man. Breathe. Just breathe. Zala notices the look of worry and confusion plastered on Elijah's face as he seeks to keep up with the group in this damp maze. Don't worry, Elijah. I get this must be really confusing. We'll explain everything once we get back to the base. Just hang in there until then, okay? Okay then. Elijah's face eases a bit as he chooses to put his fears to the back of his mind and devote the focus to keeping up with the group. After an hour of trudging in the tunnels, the four make it to their destination. Already a choice. Only 10 minutes in. Glad we made it without too much trouble. It almost went a little too well. Too well? What do you think was going to happen? Is there something you're not telling me? No, just that we might be the first group to ever infiltrate a Bosk facility and make it out alive. It's a bit hard to believe. Hey, weren't you the one talking earlier about believing in the founder and all that jazz? Guys, maybe you should cut that out and tell our guests where we are. Right, Dr. Shaw, welcome to our base of operations. We call it the Spire. Kind of ironic, given we're way underground. We call it that as it is our mission to break Bosk's control and return humanity to the heights of the past, right from the spot. This area is huge. To think it's all underground. The city above us is vast. Many of its operations are run and maintained from the underground. We will fill you in while we brought you here shortly. And thanks for your patience. We had to get you out of there quickly, so I apologise for how hectic this all would have been. Firstly, I'd like to introduce you formally to our team. I'm Iker Davis, the team leader. Don't normally like the guys handing out the orders, but I gotta admit, Iker knows his stuff. You'd be smart to listen to him, Elijah. Make sure you run everything by Iker, okay, Elijah? Sure, no problems. Levi Jensen here is our combat specialist. He came from a very respected military family. It's a privilege to have him with us. You need weapons or combat advice? I'm your guy. Zyla Campbell is on logistics. Without her, me and this whole team would be a mess. Don't let her looks deceive you though. She's also highly skilled in combat, so I warn you not to get on her bad side. Hey Iker, what's that supposed to mean? And over there we have Jasper Scott, whom you haven't met yet. He's our tech guy, managing all our computers, ID scanning and temper systems. It's an absolute honour to meet you, Dr. Shaw. I've heard a lot about you. Just Elijah is okay. Elijah it is then. Well, that's everyone you need to meet for now. Let's head over to somewhere more comfortable to talk. This way, Elijah. The group descends amid the wreckage to an area filled with computers, couches and makeshift living spaces. In the centre is an old bit of machinery that has been converted into a burner that the group now sits huddled around for warmth. This is where you live? It may not look like much, but it has everything we need. Most importantly, living down here keeps us out of Bosk's sight. Now, how are you feeling? You seem to be in an unusual mental state when we found you. Did they do anything to you in there? I don't think so. I can't really remember though. Just what is going on with me? Why isn't my brain working right? Can you remember any details at all? Like how you got there? I felt like there was something important I had to do. Maybe. It's just all hazy. I can only remember coming into that facility. I can't remember anything else. When you say you can't remember anything else, what do you mean? As in from the last day or so? How long back? I mean, I can't remember anything at all. As Elijah continues, he becomes increasingly jittery with words spoken between anxious breaths. It feels like when I try to think there's a stabbing pain in my head. I somehow understood when you say my name it was the truth, but if you asked me first, I don't think I'd have been able to answer it. Elijah, what is wrong with me? Why am I so scared? Jasper, let's get a scan of his brain and figure out what's happening. Sure thing, Elijah. Sit there. I'm gonna take a peek into your head to see what's going on. Okay. Give me a sec to get this stuff ready to go. I just need to get it all loaded up. Shouldn't be long. Elijah sits in the cold base, nervously waiting for some information that might help him make sense of the strange happenings around him. Right, the system's ready now. Your pattern looks fairly normal for the moment. I'm going to ask you to now picture a human shape. You got one in mind? Yes. Any pain, discomfort, or difficulty in picturing it? No, it's easy. I feel okay. Great, it all looks normal here too. Now I want you to picture your mother's face for me. Can you do that? Elijah's face is painted with distress. That is no good. And it's okay to stop now. How do you feel? It's like the harder I try to picture something I feel I know somehow, the more it hurts. The more everything gets fuzzy. I see. After several more tests of a similar nature, Jasper leans back into his chair with a pensive expression. What do you think is the problem, Jasper? From what I can tell, his brain patterns that flow between the cortex, amygdala, and hippocampus are significantly disrupted. What is strange is that only particular patterns, and they're behaving in a very unusual way. Everything else in his brain is functioning perfectly. Could you maybe dumb it down for us non-brain experts, please? It means the only part of his brain not working properly are those related to personally significant memories. Those kind of memories are a complete set of processes between the cortex, amygdala, and hippocampus. The amygdala in particular is important for personally significant memories. From what I can tell, some of these very selective processes are being disrupted. So something is stopping him from accessing personal memories while the rest of his brain is working normally. Yes, his other forms of memory, such as working memory and implicit memory, are functioning completely fine. In other words, he should be able to still remember things related to his general skills, such as language. But things of personal and emotional significance, particularly long-term memories, have been completely disrupted in his brain. How did that happen? An injury of some kind? Definitely not. An injury can cause memory loss, and sometimes even selectively, but that'll show up in the scan as a general impairment of brain function in that region. From what I can tell, Elijah's brain is so selective in its disruption that I can only assume it was done intentionally. Intentionally? Why would someone do that? It would be if he's a doctor and he's doing something that the boss people don't like, perhaps he did it to himself so that when he got caught, he wouldn't be able to blab about what he knows. I'm not exactly sure, but I can think of one pretty plausible theory. Did that officer guy do it to him so we couldn't get any info out of him? Unlikely. I don't see why he would go to all that trouble. If he wanted to silence him, he would have just killed him. I think Dr. Short chose to erase his own memories. See? Man, I'm so clever. Huh? Why would I do that? Elijah, can you remember anything related to the Bureau and how they track people? No, I can't. The Bureau are the current international totalitarian government. They use the scans of our brains for ID. It is by far the most reliable method of surveillance. They call it neural ID. After licenses were scrapped as the main system for ID, they switched to using other forms of tracking. This included fingerprint, eye, even scans identifying bone size and hands for ID. Can you guess what the issues were with these? I'm guessing people found a way around them. Exactly. Fingerprints could be scanned and reproduced. Even the same with eyes and hands. Voice recognition, all of that can be reproduced. It might sound ridiculous, but with the technology that came through the Tempest system in the 40s, technology really sped up rapidly. The Tempest system? Oh man, you got a lot to catch up on. We can come back to that later. Point is, there is one thing you cannot possibly fake no matter how hard you might try: your unique brain patterns. It can't be copied or stolen, and each person's brain pattern is far more complex and unique than a fingerprint ever could be. That makes sense, but why go to such lengths to identify people? Surely falsifying identity would be pretty rare. I'm sorry, Elijah, but they have plenty of reason. Don't worry, we'll fill you in. But for now, Jasper, let's hear the rest of your theory. Although I think I know where you're going with this. The most unique brain patterns happen between the cortex, amygdala, and hippocampus. That is, the unique wiring of your brain revolving around emotionally important events. These are the patterns their scanners are most sensitive to. You getting it now? You think I chose to disrupt my own brain patterns to stop them identifying me? Yes. I don't know how you managed it though. Your brain patterns are now behaving much like a newborn's brain patterns. Not damaged, but rather erratically looking for information to connect. That would make it more likely to fool their scanners. Is he ever going to be able to recover his memories? I think that he may be able to over time. His memories are actually still all there. It is that his brain has forgotten the networks of information, the patterns of thinking to access that information. In English for us non-brain people, please. Think of your memories like taking a trip. The memory is your destination, and your home is your consciousness. You need to take a trip to your memory, retrieve it, and bring it back to your consciousness. Following so far? Yep, so far so good. The roads are gone. Your brainwaves are like the roads in between that you travel on. And they are the electrical signals that are like the highways of the mind. It is these electrical signals that the brain scanners are sensitive to. Without your brain remembering how to get the memory, it can't. Somehow these patterns of thinking are now disrupted, as if the roads in our analogy were destroyed. So now will he just need to rebuild the roads, yeah? It's worth a shot. If we start reminding him of things he's learned before, it's likely his brain will revert back to its original functioning over time. And when that happens, it'll be good for us, but also for them in terms of identifying you. We have to fix that. This is a lot. I really want to figure out what's going on, but my head is killing me. Your scan shows that your brain has been under incredible stress. I think it's time to take a break. Have a sleep and recover. Yeah, I'll show you where you can rest. I'll wake you up in a few hours. We'll fill you in on the whole situation then. As Iker leads Elijah for a rest, Zola leans over to Jasper and whispers, "You think this is part of the Founder's plan?" "I sure hope so." Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a problem otherwise. Beckett leans against the cell wall, eyeing the hole in the roof. "How in the world did they get the position of this facility?" "Unclear, sir. They appear to have approached the underground through the tunnel systems. However, to make it here would have required extremely precise information. This is an off-grid facility. Simply put, it should have been impossible." Yet here we are. An informant worked with them, perhaps. Doesn't seem likely. Did we get a scan of them? "No, sir. They entered directly through the roof and then back through the tunnel system. No neural ID signatures detected. It was likely extracted several hours ago based on the lack of residual heat signatures in the room. So someone has figured out a way to avoid neural ID detection. At this point, you'd think it'd be worth going back to good old-fashioned cameras. What a waste. What is the next course of action, sir? Should we notify the Bureau?" "Not yet. If we do that, it'll be us who gets erased. Then they'll come in and simply close the loop. Besides, this could be an opportunity for us. If we retrieve the prisoner and uncover the threat that even the Bureau was unaware of, that'll likely put us in line for a promotion." "You do have high ambitions, sir, but are you sure that is wise? You know how ruthless they can be. It is the only option we are left with now. It is all or nothing from here. We must figure out who they are quickly and deliver them to the Bureau." Beckett pauses as he stares with an intensity of thought. "So they left no other clues whatsoever?" "No, sir." "Do another sweep. Check all nearby scanners, and if there are any other forms of surveillance that might have captured their movements." "Yes, sir." "Also gather my team ASAP." "Right away, sir." Interesting. Just outside the base area, Elijah stands solitary as he seeks to uncover his shrouded memories. What was it again? There was something I had to do. What was it? Come on, think. Elijah kicks a nearby metal beam in frustration. Nothing. Nothing at all. Just blank. All that lingers is some strange sense of urgency that I carried. What does that even mean? After some time, a voice calls out to Elijah from over his shoulder. "Oh hey, I was just looking for you. You feeling better?" Elijah turns to see Zyla, who draws near to stand alongside him. "Yeah, I think I'm getting there." "Get a good sleep in?" "I basically was out as soon as my head hit the pillow. I only just woke up and decided to go for a walk." "That's good, looked like you needed it." "I did. Still feeling all surreal, but I guess I just had to accept the position I'm in." The silence grows as the two look out upon the vast system of tunnels. Must be strange, not knowing who you are or what's going on. Yeah, it's a pretty weird feeling to say the least. Might be nice to forget everything though. Maybe. I wouldn't really know if I had a life I want to remember, or forgotten. It's probably a bit of both. Things you'd like to forget, things too precious to let go of. That's life, baby. Zyla pauses. The weight in her words speak the depth of experience that sprung them forwards. Well, I guess that's how it'd be for me anyway. I think that's just the human experience, you know? Sorry, I'm not making this easier. No, it's okay, it feels good to talk about it. Ever since I woke up, it's been frenetic. It gives me a chance to process. Yeah, I can't imagine how weird it'd be, having no recollection at all, then being whisked away by a bunch of strangers. It's a wonder you haven't run away from us. She really is so genuinely caring. Run away? I don't know where I'd go. Anyway, it's clear you guys are good people, and that Beckett guy was going to keep me trapped in there. I should be grateful if anything. It's funny hearing you talk. Doesn't sound like you have no memory. Feels like you have plenty of personality to me. It's strange, I feel like I know who I am, I feel like it is right there, but as soon as I try to think, it's like something just stops me. It's so frustrating. Well, if it makes you feel any better, you may not be missing out on too much. This world basically sucks anyway. We're here hoping to turn it around. Probably a fool's hope, but it's something to live for at least. It's something to get out of bed for, even though we basically have no chance of success. Is that bad, huh? It has been for a lot of us. Of course, it's not like I grew up in one of the rich areas on the eastern side, so I can't speak for everyone, I guess. All I know is my experience, and from that I can say without a doubt that those boss bastards above us are as twisted and corrupt as they come. Once again, the silence envelops the two in the cavernous tunnels. Though I can't remember, I feel like I know what you're saying is right. Either way, I have to figure out what's going on and what I'm here for. That you do. You'll soon hear all about how we came to get you out of there. And so I hope that you'll join us, but know that you can walk away. Thanks. I don't know what I'd do or where I'd go though. It isn't easy. I just don't want you to feel pressured. We want you along for the right reasons. Thanks. That does help actually. And oddly makes me feel more confident to stick around. I'm glad. We really could use your help. Anyway, let's head over. It's about time you got some answers. Elijah, feel any different after your sleep? Anything come back to you yet? Feeling a lot better, thanks, but haven't recalled anything yet. I see. Oh, there's a lot for you to catch up on. Hopefully getting you up to speed will trigger some of those other memories. Is there anything you'd like to start off with? Well, I'm thankful for you guys busting me out of there. I just want to know why you did it, and what you're expecting from me in return. To be honest, we don't know either. It was the founder that sent us the exact time and coordinates to save you. We were only told to do the extraction, and then return to base to get further instructions. The founder? Who's that? He's the one who assembled this group. First with Ica, who was then instructed to gather together the people you see. That's why we call him the founder. Okay, but who is he? Are we going to meet up with him soon? Well, we don't know. Actually, we don't know who he is, actually. We've never actually met him. What? What do you mean? Ica pauses, looking out over the base and thought, I think it might be more helpful to come at this from a different angle. Don't worry, we'll explain more about the founder soon. It's probably best to catch him up about the Bureau to start. They're the ones who will be coming for us now, after all. True. Then we will explain about the founder. Then when we explain about the founder, it'll all make more sense. The Bureau. I've heard you guys use that term quite a bit. Their full name is the Bureau of Safety Controls, often called BOSC or just the Bureau. They grew as a shadow government before gaining absolute control, run by a very select group of elites. Everything you do is monitored and influenced through BOSC. Elijah pauses a moment to think. Everything is run by one group of elites that have grown to take control of everyone. Doesn't sound like something that people would just easily accept, yet it feels eerily true. How is that even possible? How do people let that happen? It's a complicated story. The founder revealed the truth to us that wasn't revealed to the public. I'll give you a quick overview now, but we won't be able to cover everything. Why don't we take a seat? Ica leads the group over to a sitting area before continuing. Listen closely. It might be too much to tell you everything all at once, so we'll simplify it for now. Jasper, why don't you bring up the training program and run Elijah through it? Sure, I'll bring it up. Jasper gets out his tablet and props it up for Elijah to see. Elijah, I'm going to run you through our training program to get you up to speed with our mission. It contains some information that is known to the public, though most of it is secret information that the founder has disclosed to us. To understand our mission, it is crucial you come to terms with the following information. I wish we could give you more time to absorb it all, particularly given your memory loss, but the fact is that the Bureau is going to be coming for us now. We have no time to lose, so we're going to have to hit you with it all now. Right. Levi hasn't done the training yet either, so we'll just run you both through it together. Okay, I'm ready. Elijah, given that you can't remember the Tempest system, I think we should start there. In 2041, research scientist Dr. Tara Evans made waves with a groundbreaking scientific paper. Tara? Distorted visions flood Elijah's mind as the group sees his face scrunch up in response to hearing her name uttered. Are you okay? Did you remember something? I'm fine. I think I almost did. What was it? Was that just my imagination? The image won't come back to me. It's okay, Elijah. It'll come with time. You want to stop and take a break? No, I'm fine. Continue, please, Jasper. Okay then. Jasper presses his fingers down as he begins to run through the training visuals. The Tempest system was a device designed to make use of Dr. Evans' newly discovered quantum field, which she coined as the Tempest field. It was named this as the field exhibited a unique characteristic. Like many quantum particles, Tempest particles can have special connections to other particles of their own kind, known as quantum entanglement. When one particle is spinning one way, you can know for certain that the other particle is spinning the other way. It is a true binary connection. All of this is quite normal so far. This is just basic physics. If you're not following, don't worry. It isn't too important to understand how it works right now. What was unusual about these particles was how the entanglement occurred, which was unique to this field. Normal entanglement is seen across distances of space, so that even though two particles might be in different locations, they still maintain their connection. But after further research, Dr. Tara Evans made a thrilling discovery. The discovery she made was that these new particles she found didn't have their special connection, their entanglement, across normal spatial distance. She discovered the Tempest particles' entangled pair actually interacted backwards across time. Simply put, the scientific discovery could be used to transcend time itself. I didn't understand none of that, but Elijah, you didn't seem surprised at all, eh? You remembering it? No, it is surprising, but something about it seems really familiar. So you're saying they developed a method of time travel? Not quite. Physical time travel is impossible, at least for sending ordinary matter. Only Tempest particles from the Tempest field behave in this unusual way. And even then, the particles themselves don't actually travel through time, they simply interact backwards across time with their entangled pair. I have absolutely no idea what any of that means. Do I have to understand all the sciencey stuff? So what are they doing, sending messages back through time? No, because what it means for us and our mission is actually very straightforward. It means objects, people, basically anything physical can't be sent back through the field. But although it's impossible to send a person back, it's possible to send information back. Information would be a different story. Exactly, by utilizing entangled Tempest particles, you can send binary information from future to past in an unlimited supply. Again, in English, thanks. Essentially, you can send computer files back through time. Could've just said that in the first place. Why are you guys always making simple things complicated? Anyway, there is a catch to the system. You would need a machine to send the message to. Exactly. Only one Tempest machine is able to detect the incoming information through the field. Send the information to any earlier, then there is no one to answer the call, so to speak. Basically, the earliest time in human history a message could be sent to is from when the first Tempest machine was switched on, that being in 2044. Dr. Tara Evans was a brilliant woman. She realized that creating a receiver is much easier than creating a transmitter. The receiver only needs to detect the Tempest particles and decode the binary information. The transmitter, however, needs to be designed to pair with an entangled particle located at a very specific point in time, which is no easy feat. So although the first machine to receive files was turned on in 2044, the first machine designed to send files wasn't completed until much later in 2059. Right, that makes sense. But hey, why did they just send the information about how to build the transmitter back in time to 2044? Good question, they did do that. Though to be clear, that doesn't mean that they didn't have to invent the machine. Think about it this way. If when they first turned on the receiver in 2044, the planes had come straight through, they never would have had the chance to create the transmitter in the first place. This would cause a paradox. Fortunately, this isn't the way that physics works. I was thinking that, how does it work then? This is very surreal explaining this to you of all people. Anyway, the way it really works is in sequential loops. Here, I'll bring up the training video to make it easier to understand. Okay, so we have the receiver that was built in 2044 and the transmitter that was built in 2059. This is what happened in the original timeline. We call the original timeline Line 0. When information is sent back in time, in a way that alters the timeline, at that moment the time is looped back in on itself. That prior reality is effectively erased and replaced with a new loop. You following? That sounds an awful lot like Steins Gate, but go on. Which is what my background is right now on my computer. Nope. What it means is the first time they switch on the machine in 2044, they didn't automatically just get the files of the transmitter sent to them. In fact, nothing happened. No messages came through originally. The future played out normally and the transmitter had to be built from scratch. Once it was completed, they sent the files back, which created the new loop. And on this new loop, it would have appeared as if the files for the transmitter appeared straight away once the receiver was first switched on in 2044. Although that reality was basically replaced, it doesn't mean it never happened. The prior loop caused events in this new loop. That's what we mean by a sequential loop. Each loop is built off the one that preceded it. That is insane. It's a lot to take in. Because each loop is built off the loop prior, causality is never broken. Cause and effect are still in play, and there can never be paradoxes. Right, it's impossible to know how many loops have played out before this one. All we can be sure of is that if you're in a world that is receiving information through the temper system, it at least isn't the first loop. A prior loop must have caused it. My brain hurts. My brain hurts. Okay, I think I understand how the temper system works, or at least the basics. It's a device that sends information to the past, and in doing that, kinda also creates a new loop that'll replace your timeline, is that correct? And that about covers it. Then I'm guessing you can't send messages to the future, is that right? Correct. The temper system only works in one direction, in sending information to the past. Because the last loop is always replaced by the new loop, the future the messages came from no longer exists in the new timeline that is created. This makes it impossible to send messages forward. In the new timeline, the future is always unwritten. There is no future yet to send it to. And the old future no longer exists either. I get it, so a message from the future means it is a message from a timeline that has been removed. Indeed, altering the past means shifting it to a new loop, so inevitably by sending a message to the past, you're essentially deleting your current loop. But that doesn't make them pointless. That is why we use the term sequential loop. Each loop builds upon the loop before it in sequence. Any information that is sent back is preserved. Obviously, nobody retains memories or knows how many loops have occurred prior to this one. When a change is made, everything is shifted back to that point, memories and all. What you experience your life to be like is represented by the bright green lines in the video. Even though other loops used to exist, they have been erased or replaced, and us along with it. You don't remember they occurred, because by altering the past, they have now been erased. However, if you can send logs or information back through the temper system, you can not only keep track of what has occurred in those loops, but also manipulate the past and future with that information. So our experience of reality plays out normally into the future, but there have been so many loops prior causing events in our lives, and we would have no way of even knowing. That is so strange to wrap my head around. Alright, it all makes sense. So connecting the dots from earlier, are you saying that it was Bosk's plan to use the system in order to seize control of the future? Yes and no. It has become that way now, but it wasn't always the case. In fact, if it wasn't for the invention of the temper system and the initial work of Bosk, there wouldn't be much of humanity left. What? They weren't always what they are now. There is a reason they amassed as much power as they have. This would be a lot for Elijah to take in at once. Maybe we should take a break and finish this after dinner. You're probably right, Zyla. A quick mental break and some food would be good for Elijah at this point. The group began to scatter in preparation for dinner, while Elijah stays frozen alone with his thoughts. I somehow know this all already. But what is this strange sense of foreboding I'm feeling? Alright, we need to wrap this up because we are out of time for today. We're back to Beckett, are we? Well, he seems like a dick, but I'm fascinated. There's a lot of parallels that I can draw to Steins Gate's story. Obviously, already. But, man, I love me a good time loop mystery thing. So sue me. Hopefully you guys do too. Let me know what you guys think, because it'll be a while before we get into the next episode for this one. Because I've still got Divine Deception to finish, and Not for Broadcast to finish, and stuff like that. So let me know what you think. Want some feedback to let me know how interested you guys are, because I would love to do more, but I have a lot of backlog at this point. But that is the 7th Enigma, we're going to call it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.